if you've ever been to one of those events, I got to tell you, it's phenomenal. It's you will never attend a recognition event of similar nature than these best places to work events. They're fantastic. And then sort of the big thing that we're going to talk about in a little bit too is the employee feedback reports are delivered. Everybody that participates, whether they make the list or don't make the list, they all get an employee feedback report that summarizes the data that we collected. Again, those reports and those surveys are all on the website. A lot of people are asking, well, why should I apply to be a best place to work? That's what we're going to talk a little bit about next. There really falls into two categories. And the first category you'll see here is that it really is an inexpensive way to conduct an employee engagement satisfaction survey. And you really get, once you get the results back, whether you make the list or not, you really do get a better sense of what it is that your employees are thinking and feeling and the challenges that you might be up against to improve your workplace. And within that report also includes either the New Jersey or Pennsylvania benchmark information so that you can compare your results to the best places to work in either Pennsylvania or New Jersey, whichever is appropriate. So in terms of why apply, if you go out and do a employee satisfaction survey on your own, it's an incredibly expensive process to go through. And by participating in this program, it's a huge benefit and it's relatively inexpensive. Again, for more details about the cost to participate, please visit those websites. But if you make the list, let's consider that for a second. It is the second sort of major category of the benefits of participating is if you make the list, employee morale is going to go through the roof. You're going to have recruiting advantages that your competitors won't, and the marketing and branding of your company just went up quite a bit. And I think that is probably, when you make the list, is a huge benefit. Okay. Again, I know I'm talking fast. We sort of have a lot to get through, so hopefully you're able to follow along, and I'm not going too fast for you. The next, we're going to talk a little bit about why you might want to focus on being a best place to work. You can apply to these programs, which is great, but why should you focus on being a best place to work? And I think I think many would agree that there are few organizations that don't need to be firing in all cylinders to be competitive in what they do. I think those organizations are rare and don't really need to be focusing on being a best place to work. But if you're in a competitive environment, which a lot of us are, and you need competitive advantage, that exists with your people, the effort they put in, and the positive work experience that they're going to have. And that all comes down to creating an environment where people love to come to work. And I'll tell you why. Better places to work have the following. They have a higher employee morale. I think we see that in all of the organizations that certainly make our list. It's certainly enhanced retention and employee loyalty. I think when organizations take the time and effort to really focus on being a best place to work, they I think, enjoy a very nice return from the loyalty side from the employees. You'll have employees who are more productive. You're going to have the benefit of what we like to call the discretionary effort from the employees. Employees will do more for a best place to work because they want to, not necessarily because they have to. They're either going to leave at 5 o'clock or whenever their day is done, or if there's that one extra thing that needs to be done, they're going to stay and do it because they're going to spend their discretionary effort if they're working for an organization who focuses on creating that culture where people love to come to work. Better places to work have not only more job applicants, but they're better qualified job applicants. We're hearing that from all sorts of areas where people have made the list and will come back to us and say, you know what, we got more applicants. Not only did we get more, but we got better qualified job applicants. So we know we're in a tough economic time right now, but I'm telling you the job market's going to loosen up, and we're going to be in a spot where we're going to be competing for talent. So if you focus on being a better place to work, regardless of whether you get the designation, you can sort of take that piece out of it. If you're focusing on creating an environment where people love to come to work, you're going to see huge benefits. You're going to see better customer service because your employees are happier. And again, you're going to be able to manage your way through tough times. I don't know how many companies have made our lists that just went through a horrible year having to lay people off and doing other things that they didn't really want to have to do. But they did it the right way. They treated their employees with respect. The communication was good. All of those things that you want to focus on being the best place to work, those were in place. And so they came out the other end. Did they have a tough year? Yes. But the employees who are left behind really appreciate the place where they work and have still maintain a high level of employee engagement in those organizations. And what that translates to in my funky little graphic there, it's pretty plain to see. It's dollar signs. And that's sort of the language that speaks volumes when, especially if you're in the HR function, trying to convince senior and upper level management that you need to focus on being a best place to work, and they're going to say, why? Show me. And it's, there's a lot of information about how being a best place to work translates into bottom line dollars, and for a lot of those obvious reasons that you can see right here on the slide. I think there would be little or no argument that if you're a best place to work, it certainly enhances your ability to increase that bottom line. It's not a guarantee because any number of things can happen within your industry, within an economy that can affect bottom line. But this gives you the best opportunity and best chance to get there if you have focused on creating a great place to work. Now, I'm going to take a breath here because we're going to enter into the next sort of major segment of what we're doing on this particular presentation. That's to talk a little bit about the data that we collected. Again, the companies that go through our process, we put them through an employee satisfaction and engagement survey. And there's a ton of data. There's 76 questions that we ask, and then there's 8 major categories that we put those questions in to. And so we're able to look at different categories, and we're going to present you with a little bit of information. What you're looking at now is, and I'm going to go through these slides, but probably if you're in Pennsylvania, your data is going to be in green. If you're from New Jersey, your data is going to be in blue, and the red number is going to be the national data. And I'm going to go through and just give you a quick glance at the different categories of employee engagement that we're looking at and where the data stacked up. And again, we'll move through this fairly quickly. So the first category of questions that we ask is leadership and planning. There's 8 questions, or they're not really questions, they're more statements that the employees are either agreeing to or not agreeing to. And in this particular category, we're looking at employees' understanding of long-term strategy. In their opinion, do the executives follow through with what they're telling them? Is there adequate planning? Does leadership care about the employees? Those are, sort of the information that we're trying to capture with these particular statements. And as far as the data goes, again, these numbers that you're seeing here for Pennsylvania, let's take that as an example. For the companies that made the list in Pennsylvania, 85.9% of the employees of those companies agreed with the questions that fell under this category. So 85.9% for Pennsylvania, 90.4% for New Jersey, and the national average is 89%. Again, those percentages are for companies who've made our lists, who we consider great places to work. So it gives you a little bit of a benchmark there that, for this particular category of leadership and planning, those are the numbers that we're looking at for the companies that made the list. The second of the 8 categories is corporate culture and communication. And the corporate culture and communication, there's 13 statements. Again, I'll stop, take a time out, and say if you want to see the questionnaire, the employee survey, you can go to either bestplacesToWorkNJ.com or bestplacesToWorkInPA.com to see the survey itself. And you can sort of go back to this presentation to see what I'm referring to. Corporate culture and communication. Well, that's getting down to, again, it's pretty straightforward, but the frequency of communication, the transparency of information that's being disseminated. Emphasis on the quality within an organization, spirit of cooperation. Again, corporate culture and communication, they're sort of lumped together in one category. And the data here is for Pennsylvania, 86.1%, New Jersey, 90.1%, and the national average is 89%. Again, those numbers represent percentage positive response from the winning companies in this particular category. Next up, third category, role satisfaction. This is where you were really getting down to the opinion of the employees. Do they like their jobs? Are employees feeling like they're valued and that they're part of the team? Does the